This is 91.3 FM, WCW in Worcester, Massachusetts, the Dr.Chris Radio of Horror program. And tonight on Radio of Horror, from a upcoming short film called Rainy Season, based on a short story by Stephen King, we have the writer-producer on the show with us, Vanessa Wright. Thank you for coming on the show with us, Vanessa.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And who's the director of this feature coming up?
The director is Grant McGowan. Yes, he's actually the artistic director of Pinch and Ouch Theater in Atlanta.
Cool. And
I'm very excited to be working with him.
For anyone not familiar with the story, again, it's based off a novel from Stephen King's Nightmares and Dreamscapes collection of short stories, correct?
Yes, that is correct. I believe it was first published in Graffiti Magazine in 1989.
Correct.
And then it was added to the collection. I myself was not terribly familiar with it when I was looking for a story to adapt, which was part of what I wanted. I'm a huge Stephen King fan, and I didn't want anything, one, that had been done too many times, and two, that I was really, really close to. I kind of wanted to jump into a new challenge and take something that I really wasn't familiar with. And I loved it. I thought it was a great story. There's a whole lot of creepy kind of subtext going in, which is what we wanted to focus on in the film.
Now, the story is about a husband and wife on summer vacation in a house up in Maine, and they're warned repeatedly by the local inhabitants that they should leave. They don't comply, and they end up starting to get weird things happen to them, correct?
Yeah. They are under attack of sorts. It's a kind of a supernatural thing that happens. I don't know how much we really want to give away. Can I just say spoiler alert? And
I am not too. I am one of those people. Unfortunately, does spoil things for people. I don't mean to intentionally. I just kind of talk my mouth off. But if you want to give a spoiler alert, that's fine. So anyone's listening, you don't want to know about the plot line, stop listening.
Yeah, exactly. You've got 3, 2, 1. I'm going to spoil it. So basically, what the rainy season is in the town of Willow, Maine. Every 7 years, the rainy season descends upon the town, and it's kind of it's a story about sacrifice. The newest inhabitants of the town are sacrificed for the greater good, so that the town can prosper. And the manner in which they are sacrificed is the kind of supernatural element. It literally rains man-eating toads.
Did you ever see the episode of Supernatural where the kids are constantly being sacrificed to the scarecrow god in order to bring about the harvest, and Sam and Dean have to stop it?
No, I have not seen that. Yeah, I mean, the thing that got me about this story, I think, Stephen King, from what I understand, is a fairly big fan of Shirley Jackson. And when I started reading the story, it made me think of her story, The Lottery. And Stephen King actually references that a few pages in. So it kind of clicked for me, and I thought, okay, I think I have a really good grasp and understanding of what he really is trying to say with this story. And with the adaptation, that's really what we and I wanted to focus on. I didn't want to just do a literal adaptation and have everything that's in the story just happen, word for word, page for page, and then these people get eaten by frogs or toads. But, I really wanted to focus more on the stuff that we weren't seeing, that wasn't being said. I wanted to focus a little bit more on kind of the history of this every 7 years, the sacrifice. And we wanted to build more tension between the couple, just to kind of make the stakes a little bit higher and have the audience a little bit more on edge with what was going to possibly happen.
Why this story?
Well, in my research, Stephen King, his Dollar Babies program, he basically will release his short stories that have not been commercially produced. They're not eligible for distribution or profit. So when I looked at the list, there was probably about 30 or so stories there, and some of them I was very, very familiar with. Some I had seen at various film festivals, and I really wanted to pick something that hadn't been done a whole lot. I actually only found one other adaptation of Rainy Season. So that was part of why I wanted to do that. It's hard, I think, when you're looking at a story, if it's been adapted over and over and over, to really try to take a fresh take and do something that hasn't been done with it yet. And I wanted to be able to have that ability. And secondly, I just really connected with that story.
Is your version going to be narrated by Yeardley Smith like the audiobook was, the voice of Lisa Simpson?
Maybe our blooper reel will be, but that's funny. No.
Out of all the adaptations of Stephen King, what would you say yours would be the favorite?
Honestly, I think my favorite is Misery. I think Kathy Bates just killed it. It's a scary, scary story. But I mean, that's the thing. His stuff's been done so many times. I do have favorites. I think some of his work actually works better as a book. I think some stuff, it's hard to translate to film a lot of times. But yeah, I'd say my favorite's probably Misery.
Can you believe they're remaking it as 2 movies?
Now, I haven't really done a lot of research. This is a real thing. It's actually going to happen.
Yeah, well, maybe. I mean, how many times have we been hearing about the It remake?
Well, I know, and I'll be honest with you. I think, so it was done, when was it, 1990, I think, or 89?
1990, I think you're correct.
Okay. So it was made for TV. It was a 2-part miniseries.
Correct.
And considering what they had to, the guidelines they had to work within, obviously, because it was going to be on television and everything, I think they actually did a good job adapting that story. I mean, there's a lot you can do, a lot you can't do.
And it was actually, what's funny, it's some of the worst performances by some great mainstream actors, but some of the best performances by up-and-coming young actors.
I would agree with that. I really would agree with that. And, you know, it's funny. I always thought to myself, if they ever remake this, you know, they should either do it on cable or, you know, something where they didn't have as many limitations. But I'll be honest with you, I don't know who else would be able to pull off Pennywise. I think Tim Curry was brilliant and scared the bejesus out of me. So, I don't know. I think that's going to be the key, is finding someone that just, even thinking about it, that one did get me.
Yeah, you definitely need somebody with his type of presence and voice.
Yeah, he's, I mean, I don't know, how is he, maybe with some clown makeup he could still do it. I don't know. Is he too old? Can we bring Tim Curry back?
Well, unfortunately, Tim Curry suffered a stroke a few years ago, and he's not been doing so well. He was...
Oh, no!
Yeah, he's recovered, but someone told me that he saw him recently, and he didn't look great.
Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad. He's a great actor. I really like him.
The last thing I think I remember him doing was the voice of G. Gordon Godfrey, the political slandering talk show host on Young Justice, where he was a character from the comics who loves slandering the superheroes despite any good job they do.
Oh. Well, I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, he's appeared in various incarnations of DC Comics animated form, and is eventually revealed to be actually working for Darkseid to, get the Earth to, reject the heroes to make it easier for his invasion force.
Right. Well, naturally, yeah.
Is there anything else you can tell us about Rainy Season? Being a short film, and you guys haven't made it yet, I'm sure there's probably going to be more stories to come from the set and everything.
Yes. We are projected to film this spring, late spring possibly. And actually the location is really, really cool. We looked at probably 25 different places. The way the home is described in the story, it's kind of an old farmhouse with these kind of zigzag pattern of buildings. Like, it just seems a little thrown together and old and strange. So trying to find something that would work visually and have it all in one location was proving to be quite challenging, because we found a beautiful place up in the North Georgia mountains, perfect kitchen, perfect, loft space, but we were going to have to cheat a lot of things because the place was built in, I think, 1930, so it had very, very low ceilings, and logistically it would have been a nightmare to try to figure out how to get lights and equipment and everything in there and let the actors perform. So we kept looking, and a friend of mine said, why don't you check out the house where they filmed Lawless, which I had no idea they had done that here. So I looked into it, and they actually built a home on, this guy has 129 acres out in Sonoya, Georgia. And when they wrapped filming, they were going to tear the structure down, and he was like, no, keep it. I'd like to keep it on my land. And we went there, and it was perfect. It's got this long gravel, very isolated driveway. It looks and feels like it is sitting literally in the middle of nowhere. And it's perfect. It was built for filmmaking. It has high ceilings, rafters, lots of places to hang lights, staircases extra wide. It's ideal on all levels. So I'm actually very, very excited about being able to film there.
Now, here's my question. How are you going to do the black toads with the giant teeth?
Well, that's going to be the trick. I have gone back and forth on this. My personal opinion, I really don't want to show too much of the toads, or even really reveal them at all. We've got a visual effects team and a special effects team trying to decide what we want to do practically and what we want to do, digitally. But we really want to play on the senses. We want the audience kind of experiencing everything that our main characters, John and Elise, are experiencing. So we do want to play a lot with sound and with lighting and shadows, and really try to, get under people's skin a little bit. And hopefully, this is my feeling. I think the moment that we reveal the toads, especially if we reveal them in their entirety, that the fear and the scare factor will kind of go away. It's like the moment you reveal the monster, it's like not so scary anymore. So we're trying to be very careful not to reveal too much, and to distract, to kind of distract the audience a little bit with some other stuff that will be going on in the film.
Just don't do CGI toads.
I don't. It's funny. I would love to not have to show them at all, to be honest with you. I don't think we can actually do that. I mean, I think we're going to show something.
Yeah.
There's quite an intense attack scene, but I think a lot of it's going to be happening so fast. We don't want to take too much time and really focus on the toad. We want more of you're seeing bits and pieces, and you're not really able to see it as a whole. Just to I want to leave more up to the imagination.
Now, what's funny is that you're coming off of Women in Horror Month and going on to National Women's Month, which starts March 1st through the month of March. And this is how we got connected. It's through Women in Horror Month.
Yes. Yeah, we tried to jump on that. We launched our crowdfunding campaign February 1st in hopes of really trying to celebrate, because I, as the executive producer, and then the two other producers, Stephanie Wyatt and Samantha Kolsnick, we kind of have this trifecta female section team. So I really wanted to focus on that because we are women in horror. And it's a really fun, this can be such a fun shoot in the most gruesome way possible. And we're very, very excited about it.
Just if you could, rattle off some of the cast and crew of your movie, Rainy Season.
Yeah, absolutely. Our director, again, is Grant McGowan.
Just mention anything else they happen to have done that we would know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Grant, he's, like I said, Grant McGowan, he's the artistic director at Pinch and Ouch Theater in Atlanta. He's got a pretty extensive background, and you can actually search him on IMDb. I saw his most recent short is called The Voyeur, which was shot by director of photography Mark Simon, who's actually going to be shooting Rainy Season, and he's got over 30 years of awesome experience. He got his start working with John Hughes, so he worked on, I think his first one was 16 Candles, and he went on to do Ferris Bueller's Day Off and The Breakfast Club, and he was in the camera department for all those huge movies, so we're really excited to have him on board, and we have an amazing cast. I'm so excited about these actors. Tyner Rushing is going to be playing Elise. We've got Brian Ashton Smith, who's playing John, Alpha Trevette, who's playing Henry, and then Amber Germain, who's playing Laura. And they are just going to knock this thing out of the park. They're amazing.
Where can people go for other information about other films that you've worked on? Do you have any of your other films online?
I have nothing. This is my first film as far as, the projects I've done outside of school and just goofing off and stuff. I've done a lot of script writing. That's kind of where I focus most of my time. As far as being able to see that stuff, I have a website, and we've been kind of hitting festivals and stuff with different screenplays. But this is going to be kind of our first film out of the gate, in hopes that part of the reason why we wanted to do this was we knew we weren't going to be able to make any money with this project, but we looked at it as an opportunity to really hopefully open some doors for some up-and-coming artists. Just having our name attached in any way to Stephen King, that can't be a bad thing, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So our plan is really to take it around to festivals, and hopefully it will open some doors, and we'll be able to get some of our original work out that we can actually take, and hopefully investors would want to take a look at, and we could get some stuff out there. It's hard. It's hard to crowdfund and raise money for something where you can't really say you can give something back. We're literally saying you have to give us money, and I can't give you any return on it. You may or may not see the film, so it's been pretty tricky.
With fan films like these, which is essentially what it is, you can't make any money on it because you could be liable for a lawsuit you would never recover from. Exactly.
So, and we've been very, very careful to, go by the book and make sure we're not doing anything we're not supposed to be doing. But it's been exciting. It's a good, I have not ever filled the position of executive producer, so it's actually been quite educational and a lot of fun. As stressful as it is, I've really enjoyed it. I've always stayed on kind of the more creative side of things, so this has been just kind of a nice, well-rounded experience for me.
Did you get a chance to subscribe to Hulu so you could watch that new series starring James Franco we were both really interested in?
I know. No, I need to. I'm so bummed. They're probably, I don't even know how many episodes into it. Everyone keeps talking, and I'm like, la, 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 don't tell me.
But have you read the book?
I know what happens.
Oh, okay.
But still.
I just hope it doesn't I just hope it doesn't go on and on and on and on and on and on forever like Under the Dome did, which was so awful by the middle of the second season.
Yeah, I full disclosure, did not watch Under the Dome. I have like a couple of shows that I get hooked on, and then I focus on that, and I don't have time for anything else. I'm I'm involved in this, which currently is The Walking Dead. So as soon as I can get through that, I can put my attention elsewhere.
Definitely. Where can people go to find out more information about your film?
We are on Facebook. If you go to facebook.com/rainy season, it's /rainy season movie. We do have, we're on Twitter at Rainy Season Film. I'm trying to think where else. All of those places have links to our Indiegogo, which has like a little, kind of a promo intro movie and links to everybody's personal pages and projects and stuff. But I'd say Twitter and Facebook would probably be the easiest way to find us and get more info.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I really do appreciate you coming on the show with us.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. It was fun.